Hello, everybody. How are you all doing? Welcome back to Isabella Bank's YouTube channel, where we discuss all things Harry, Meghan, and their level up journey. Let me see who's in the chat. I have been paddling like crazy behind the scenes, trying to get myself together. Hi, Lady Rose. I just sent you a text. Hi, Love Wins. I've sent you the email. Hi, Gwen. Hi. Hi. Lady Rose laughing at Grudge Lord. Yeah. Oh, it is uber ridiculous. It is so ridiculous that your feelings towards someone can be so obvious that it is literally news. So, how are you guys doing? I think we're going to have Lady Rose joining us in a moment, and we will also have Love Wins. I didn't do a great job of organizing myself this week, so I don't know whether Sussex Love will join us this evening, but I am going to try to give her a reminder while we are speaking. And hopefully she will join us as we go on. How is how is everyone doing? If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up in the comment section. Hi, Yalibi. Hi, Tesleen. Hi, Diana. Hey, hey, Love Wins. How are you?
I'm good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Woohoo!
Before you know it, you're going to be an expert at this live streaming thing, Majiggy.
As soon as I say hello, though, then my doggy barks.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Doggy, we can handle. Uh, what is he barking at? Is there anything going on, or is he
No,
just
when
barking for your
I
attention?
when I say the H word, she assumes someone's here, so then
Oh,
they go into protection mode.
right.
And
Okay.
she's quite a big bossy girl, so
What is she?
uh like what breed is she?
Yeah.
So her mom, believe it or not, was a purebred golden retriever, but she
Okay.
looks nothing like Mummy other than around her face a little bit.
Yeah.
But her dad was half King Shepherd and half Rottweiler,
Okay.
so she's a big girl. There's a picture of her on one of my videos.
Okay. Oh, hi, Lady Rose.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you, family? How y'all guys doing? Happy Saturday to y'all, family.
How did the viewing go? Was it good?
Yeah, it was good, but yeah, the home has like a HOA, the homeowners association fee on there, so I do not want to pay extra $400 when
Mm.
I'm gonna get a new home. So it was a beautiful home. I'm gonna post it when we're done with y'all guys here. So how you been?
Yeah, fine, thank you. It's been an interesting week, and just getting myself together. So this week, as would be usual, I think is always the case. I think it's really the case of me being surprised when I am organized and everything comes together. But yeah, everything's good.
Good.
So I this week we have had the media still melting down because um, of the visit to Nigeria. Before we get into it, though, before you make your comments on it, um, the um, the squaddies on Twitter. Lady Rose, I don't know, have you attempted to join the spaces, the squaddies on spaces? This is their meeting rooms on Twitter. Have you ever
And
attempted join any
no,
of
I haven't figured that one yet. But
them?
I'm kind of following a batch of them, and yeah,
Mm,
chatting with lots of them there on their pages.
okay.
So yeah.
Okay. I think, yeah, I think that's the best thing. And that's precisely what I did. I was on Twitter for a good while before I discovered the Sussex squad on there. And once I did begin to follow a lot of them, then I began to see the controversy going on between Harry, Meghan, the royal family. I began to also be able to identify all the royal rota more accurately, to see the underlying issues that were going on. But joining the spaces is a whole other animal. And I love it because being a YouTuber is kind of isolating. It isolates you a little bit. And every other thing that you're going to do kind of, because mainly do YouTube and I'm mainly by myself. So going in there allows me to just rub minds with the other um, YouTubers. Oh, sorry, squaddies, and you can keep in touch, keep on top of the different perspectives that are out there. And I listened to them for a good while before I started speaking up. I when I do speak up, sometimes it's like I put the cat among the pigeons. That's for sure. But um, it allows you to sharpen your perspective a lot more, and I enjoy listening to the other perspectives. And it's not that I deliberately go there to cause trouble, but I think just like I think I might have said so before, but it's just that being from a different region, it allows me to have a different perspective, and it broadens the conversation, which allows people to say, "Do you know what? I never thought about it that way." So it's a good thing to do when you feel comfortable to do so. Go there. But most of the time, I just listen to them talk, and they have all sorts. So right now, they've got the fundraising campaign for the
Sussex community events.
yes,
I was
Sussex
on that
community
chat
event.
earlier today in
What is that
spaces.
called?
A Sussex community event fundraising for the May. I think starting from May is when the Sussex's birthdays come up. Like May is Archie, and then you've got uh is it who's next after um Archie?
Lily, I think,
Lily, and
Lily
then
Dick.
and
mm,
then Megan.
and then Megan,
Perry's in September near me.
and then September. Okay. So anyway, it just keeps you on top of the important dates and that you need to be aware of since you create content around the Sussexes and Love Wins. I did saw that article you wrote on your community page about the uh, about the military in the UK being disgusted with the royal family because they didn't acknowledge the veterans and choosing not to attend the 10th year anniversary. I scrolled everywhere looking for that article, but I couldn't find it. And
It
uh,
was only my understanding. It's only one commander and
Mm,
that commander spoke off the record. And at
mm,
first, I I very much wish they'd gone on the record, but then I realized as soon as they would have done that, they would have lost their job, or they
yeah.
would have been disciplined or demoted. So
Mm,
um, it I was glad to see that somebody said something,
mm-hmm,
and it was a pretty controversial quote in terms of, you know, mocking the royal family medals, especially after
mm,
they just handed out even more of these superfluous titles
mm,
to two people who are AWOL and one person who I won't even name, but I mean, you're talking about three people with the worst sense of work ethic within the entire institution, and they got recognized, and neither Anne nor Edward were recognized. I thought that was
mm,
incredibly poor judgment,
mm.
but
Well, I thought that that was really interesting and really insightful uh, information that you put on your community page. And I went looking everywhere for information. I have a VPN and I went changing my VPN to the different areas: Canada, America, Nigeria, trying to see where you got that information from. But yeah, thanks for that.
no problem. I
Welcome,
actually,
Sussex Love.
oh yay,
Well, hello there. Hi. I didn't know I was supposed
Hi.
to
I just complimented
talk.
myself for my
Can
level
you
of
hear me?
disorganization. Thank you so much for joining us and thank you for bearing with.
Oh,
How has your week been?
oh, thank you. I didn't know I was supposed to join you. It's been one day at a time.
One day at a time.
But I'm still
One
here.
day at a time, sweet
Yes,
Jesus.
sweet. That's all I'm asking of you. But I'm here with my Sussex family, so that makes me happy. It makes my day. It makes my day. How are you guys doing?
Fine, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us at short notice. Should we
That's
just
okay.
make it
Thank you.
permanent until you say otherwise?
Hey, as long as you can stand me, I can stand the
Okay.
I
All
love
right.
it.
So we've been talking amongst ourselves, and it's just kind of like a gentle intro to the this evening's live stream. So let's begin, and then we will come to the opinions section. I don't usually talk about politics just because following the Sussex news made me realize how much of it is just drama, that's acting that is put on stage for members of the public. So I kind of lost interest. Like, if my interest was 50%, it just completely dropped to like 5%. No longer really interested in the acting. Um, I do vote just because I feel like it would be the very worst thing not to participate in voting. And we might get lucky at getting the right person in. But apart from that, um, where I used to avidly follow the conversations, even watch the Prime Minister's time in Parliament, I no longer do that. But as Wendy Williams, who I know triggers a lot of people, I'm only referencing her because she used to say she's not interested in sports, but where sports intersects with entertainment, she will speak about it. But at the moment, we have politics intersecting with Sussex news, and you might say, "How?" All I see on the screen is Sadiq Khan. Well, let me give you the backstory then. This is why you've got me here. So, Labour's Sadiq Khan has secured a historic third term as London mayor, right? He won over Tory, because Sadiq Khan, he is Labour, and he won over uh, conservative Susan Hall,
Who is horrible.
who is horrible, like major horrible, by the
I
way.
may be Canadian, but that woman is
Mm-hmm.
horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Even I know who
Wow.
she is. She is one of the most racist, vile
Mm-hmm.
Brits on the planet. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I have never been so happy for her to
Mm-hmm.
lose, and I think she lost 2-1. I think she
Yeah, he got 1,088,000 votes, while she just got about, well, 800 and something votes. She still got a good chunk
a
of
third.
the votes. Yes. A third is still a good chunk of the votes by any means, but
Mm-hmm.
still,
It is.
it offers him a decent majority so that he doesn't hamper anything that he has to do, because it also reflects the amount of representation that
Hmm.
they have in parliament. So I was very excited. I was as excited about this win as I was when Obama won the presidential race in America. I was going crazy over here in the UK, and um, I
Oh
think everybody
wow.
was fed up of me. Yeah, they were like, "But he's not your president. It has nothing to do with you."
Well, let me
I was
ask you
like,
this.
"No, you don't understand.
Let
You
me ask
don't
you this. Let me
understand."
ask you this.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I'm American, so I don't really get exactly. But what party is he with? Is he with the Liberal Democrats, or is he with the
Is he
Labor
labor?
Party? What party is he with?
He's labor.
Yeah.
He's labor.
He's
Yeah.
okay, because maybe I don't understand it because I'm just starting to get into British politics. But it seems like a lot
Yeah.
of the Labor people seems a
Mm-hmm.
little shaky, and the Liberal Democrats seem to be not to get as much publicity, but their
Mm-hmm.
platforms seem to be better, but they're not
Mm-hmm.
getting the
I don't
backing,
think
or
they
maybe
have
I don't
quite. I don't
understand.
think they have the. They don't have the power yet. Sussex Love,
Mm-hmm.
that Labor has, and Labor versus the Tories
Mm-hmm.
is night and day. So it would be nice, I'm sure, for a lot of organizations in the UK to move
Excuse
even
me. I'm sorry.
more, to the
You
left.
okay?
Um, but I think it's
I was choking on drinking some water. Sorry.
Okay, no, that's fine. Go ahead.
yeah. So I think that even for England to get such good numbers for Labor, at least is a step away from the Tories, who are just
Mm.
absolutely vile.
Yeah. So this was the first time any candidate
Hmm.
for London mayor has won a third term in
Yeah.
office, with Mr. Khan's
Oh.
predecessors, Boris Johnson and
Mm.
Ken Livingstone, both having served 2 terms. Okay.
Can I
And
ask you a
in term,
question? Do you think he
yeah.
could run for president one day? Do you think he can run for president him one day?
If he was
Is that a
interested
pipe
in doing
dream
that, I'm
or
sure
is
that
that
he
funny? What
can.
is it?
A prime minister.
I mean, yeah, I'm sorry, yeah. Do you think he would be a good choice
Sadiq Khan,
if
I
he could
think
maybe
he
change
would.
things and get the loss?
Actually do. I actually do. He's someone who is, well, he's clearly been as effective as he can be in being the mayor of London. It's definitely a great training ground for him. They have been slightly hampered by the fact that his party is not the ruling party, by the way,
Mm-hmm.
although, yeah, because the Conservatives are the one in overall charge, say, of the government. And then now, what has happened with this election, though, is that in terms of the um, councils. I don't know how you would say it in the American equivalent, but in terms of the MPs, the members of representatives, maybe is that what it's called? Now you've, for the
Yeah,
first
House of
time in a
Representatives.
while, you've now got the Labour being in majority. So, which means most likely, if there was a general election for prime minister, Labour would win. Labour would win. And if
Mm,
the question was
mm,
whether he would make a good prime minister, so far he has done okay, I think, as mayor of London. So I definitely feel like
mm.
he would be, he's done his best. London
Well,
is quite
I didn't
cosmopolitan.
say it the right
Yeah.
way. I didn't say it the right way. What I meant to say was,
Okay.
can he be a transformational figure? Because he would have to be the one to change the laws. The laws are messed up because it's kind of like what we're gonna have to do here. But our young people are already going. We just need to jump in with them because our laws need to be changed and we
Yeah.
need to put new
Yeah.
people in. And that's the same thing you all have to do.
He's really, this is the reason why I think he would be a great prime minister, despite the fact that I don't know whether he would want to be, but most of the time, when you have people who are either home secretary, that is the minister, say minister of immigration. I don't know what the US equivalent of that would be. I think I need to know these things. I would pay attention to that perhaps in the future. Uh, but the Minister of Immigration and the Mayor of London are two positions
Mm,
where people then transition into becoming Prime Minister. And for him,
mm,
he's done a good job of, well, keeping London as calm as possible, keeping the financial sector going as great as he can. And even though really tragic things have still happened, like the sword guy the other day, and knife crime and all these kind of things, I think he's done a good job of trying to keep London going the best way that he can, given the fact that his party is not the ruling party. Now, when
mm.
come election, when his party then becomes the ruling party, there is a greater chance that he'll be able to do the things that he wants to do, but he's not allowed to do, perhaps, or he's hindered from doing because his party is not the ruling party, if that makes sense.
He's very fair with Meghan and Harry too.
Yes, okay. I
Yes,
understand it better. Thank you.
Are
yes.
you guys prime ministers nominated, or do you guys elect those people? This guy need to be wiped out from there. The house nigger.
Pardon?
Yes, I agree with that.
Who?
She's saying,
I do
how
not
do you
like that
elect
guy. I do
a
not want to
prime
see
minister?
his little face. I just do not want to see him.
Sunak.
You
We're
He's so
mean
talking about
useless
current
Sunak.
for the
prime
people of
minister?
color.
Yeah, she
Yeah, the
means
little
Sunak.
boy.
Rishi Sunak. Rishi
Right,
Sunak.
right, right, right. Mm.
What's the
Yeah,
dude's
he
name?
was
I can't
never
even say his
elected
name.
anyway. He was never elected anyway. Since Brexit, there has been change from hand to hand to hand to hand by the Conservatives to extend their stay in power. Uh, and the way they have done it is to, because the government has had a revolving door of prime ministers in the last few years, haven't they? Since the days of David Cameron, there have been about three prime ministers.
I got to ask you one question, and just one, and I'm sorry I won't ask because I just don't understand certain parts of English politics. Because there's no way that we get a president by them voting amongst themselves from the party, and then they put them in there. That seems to be the way you all do it. We don't do it that way here. Everybody votes on the president. If he dies, then we vote on another one, and the vice president takes over till we vote. So, but you seem to be when the party wins, they just kind of decide amongst themselves who is the prime minister. That's what
Oh
confuses
no,
me.
what
Okay,
happened? Do you guys remember David Cameron stepped down? And
Yes,
what
I remember that.
so
I
when
remember
he
that.
stepped
Yeah.
down, because a general election, he had entered power through a general election. I
Hmm.
think the way it works, I'm not an expert, and perhaps people in the comments may correct me, but when there has been a general election and they've been able to get a prime minister through that process, if the prime minister steps down before his time is up, the uh, I think they use the electoral process, college type process, so all the people who are members of representatives then have a within the party choose within themselves who would be the next prime minister, and then the general election is either called again,
That's what I'm saying.
or
That's what I'm saying. It seems like
but
the
there's
y'all.
a choice. There's a choice because the first prime minister through whom the first election was gotten, his time was not up before
Hmm.
he stepped down, and it doesn't belong to him alone. I think they would
Hmm.
claim that it belongs to the party. So the ruling party would then choose within themselves with who would be the next prime minister if they decide not
Right.
to
That's what I'm
choose,
saying. That's how
go
we
for
different because
another election. Yeah,
that's what confuses Americans. Because if our
yeah,
president decided he was going to leave or go early or step down, then the vice president, who we also voted for, would step
mm,
in, and then until the next election come up, they wouldn't be
yeah,
over there deciding within the party. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
That's what
yeah,
throws.
yeah,
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah. No,
I'm sorry. Go
that's
ahead.
fine. That's fine. That's why we have these forums to discuss all that is familiar and all that isn't.
They
It hurts
Third,
confuse
me
me.
to see the people of color getting so much power and then do nothing for their people.
mm,
You know, it just hurts me so bad. That guy needs to be fired ASAP. I'm
who
just
Rishi
saying.
Sunak?
But
That prime
young
minister guy.
sister, all skin folks ain't kin folks.
Right.
All skin
Hmm?
folks ain't kin folks. He is a
You
billionaire.
only
His
have to
wife is a
think of Nana
billionaire. They come
Akua.
from the billionaire class. He comes from the
Right.
billionaire class, and he's a billionaire. He's not a color. He's green. That's his color. Him and his
Mm,
wife, they're green.
mm,
Now
They green. Okay.
Nana is a house nigga. Nana is a house nigga. Oh,
mm,
sorry. Go ahead.
mhm.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so I
Okay.
will just pick it up from here and say that the Labour leader, whose handsome face you can see on the screen, he is Sir Kier Starmer, and he is very excited. And he says this is effectively the last stop on the journey to general election. And I'm really pleased to be able to show that we are making progress. We have earned the trust and confidence of voters, and we are making progress towards that general election.
Please
So
don't
it
vote for him. Please don't vote for him.
is.
Please
Hmm.
don't vote for him. He's already said he's
Please.
not going to change any of the laws. He's already said it. So he's not any
Hmm.
better than the rest of them, in my opinion. Maybe I still don't understand, but I'm trying.
Hmm.
No, so what you have here, I was just going to mention this, exactly your point, but the question is, and I will explain the personalities of all the political parties. I think as it is with all political parties, it's a question of choosing the best of the worst.
Oh, God. Well, we understand that here in America.
Yeah, yeah. So
Oh,
because
God.
in this instance, remember, I was going to remind you guys, remember the time when they said that this Kier Starmer was seen at a party at a Rupert Murdoch's summer party. I think it was last year.
Hmm.
He was seen
Wow.
at Rupert
Well,
Murdoch's summer party.
well, we know
And
where he is.
right. And also seen at the party was Rebecca Brooks, the former editor of the News of the World, and the members of the King Charles Inner Circle, including his private
Hmm.
secretary and his communications secretary. But what I think happens, and I think that's what they call politics, right? When they're able, right now, he might just be
Right.
saying what he needs to say to go along, get the confidence of the people until he's actually in power. He might
Mm-hmm.
actually be leaning in that direction,
Mm-hmm.
but it may not be as acute as he is putting it out
Mm-hmm.
to be, just so because people have gotten very used to the conservatives being in power and a lot of right wing ideology, right? So he is probably just saying what he needs to say so that he assures people who in between to say, right, all right, not that much will change in terms of, and when they say not that much will change, they're usually thinking, so the immigration is usually one of the hot spots, right? Just
Mm-hmm.
hot spots. So don't worry, we are not going to throw the doors open and allow the black people in. They would never use that
Mm-hmm.
language, but that's exactly
Mm-hmm.
what they mean, right?
Oh
Because they're
wow.
Mm-hmm.
okay with the Europeans coming in. After all, if you're looking at history, um, the when the UK joined the EU in the 1960s, they shut the door to the Commonwealth nation in it exactly that they put restrictions on the movement of the Commonwealth nations and all the African nations from the same time at which they closed the door as they opened the door to the EU. So now, this is why a lot of Black people actually voted for Brexit. I think that was kind of short sighted because they were
Mm-hmm.
thinking that once the UK left the EU, that meant that the door will at least creak open to a larger degree for Black countries to be able to come into the UK. Has that happened? No. Why?
Because that
Because
they were trying to get rid of all the black people. They wanted to
right.
just be by themselves, a white island. Thought they were going to have a
Yes.
big deal with America so they could tell all the other black people to kiss their behind. But they didn't get a deal with America. And the rest of the world was like, you're not an empire anymore. Get out of here. And so now they're
Exactly.
struggling. You know, people are starving, people are on the streets, the hospital system is crumbling. You know that your hospital system used to be one that Americans wanted to be able to emulate. I remember
Right.
back there was a time during the Olympic Games that they actually had a whole dedication to your hospital system. People out there with little ambulances in a nursing outfits and stuff, which is on the you know what I mean. It was a tribute to your NHS system. And to
Hmm.
go from that to be almost on the verge of collapse is very depressing to me.
It
And I was like,
is.
I got to stop thinking about English politics. We're over here going, we might be going down here in America. I have to focus on what we because everything I learned about y'all, I get depressed. And I was like, nope, I got to come back over here and focus on America. I'm
And so
sorry.
what happened after Sadiq Khan actually won this election was someone saying Sussex hater and right-wing bigot Susan Hall was crushed in the London mayoral elections by Sadiq Khan. Sadiq Khan was re-elected as mayor of London as he wins historic third term. And this is what she had said about the Sussexes. They need to lose all titles. They are an embarrassment to the crown. Our queen deserves so much better. I sincerely hope we do not contribute in any way to their security costs. We need our officers here in Britain. Not only are her sentiments very negative, but they were inaccurate as well.
Mm.
So I'm glad that um,
They used to have good looking green
I'm
beans
glad
and
that she
sausage.
lost.
Yeah.
I'm glad that she.
Dinner time, dinner time. Who is here?
Sorry, were you
We couldn't
saying
hear.
singing something, or
We
Man,
did
didn't
you not
understand.
intend for us to
Yeah, we
hear that?
couldn't. Yeah, we didn't hear you.
Okay,
We didn't.
You didn't hear me?
No, we couldn't understand what you were singing. Hello? Is she still there?
Okay,
Okay.
that's all right. The line perhaps keeps going in and out. Let's
Yeah, because
keep,
mine does
we're
too. Yeah.
already 36 minutes in. Let's just keep going. So, somebody else on the same subject matter said the day just keeps getting better and better. Dan Wooten is leaving London. Why were they saying that? I think I need to mute her.
I need some feet. Yeah, I heard some feedback or something.
Lady Rose looks like she's at work and
Oh
whatever, but
yeah. Yeah, she probably had to pause.
I'll just put her microphone on mute. Okay, so we've got Dan Wooten saying 4 more years of the divisive and hate-filled Sadiq Khan. Just look at who is saying someone is divisive and
Yeah,
hate-filled.
yeah. Pot calling kettle.
Uh, just so ridiculous. Anyway, so when he said left his comments, somebody else was, and it's been celebration all around on Twitter that Susan Hall lost because she was just pouring out so much hate-filled comments, just the same way, same kind of comments you expect to hear from Lawrence Fox and Dan Wooten. That's the category of hater that she was. At
No.
least, guys, have you I know that this is, well, typically a younger generation kind of thing, but have you been following the Kendrick Lamar and uh Drake beef, rap beef? Have you
You
been
know,
following it?
I just started to get into it because what got me into it was the Chris Brown diss of Quavo because I don't like
Yeah,
Quavo either. And
yeah.
so I really liked his diss, and so then I didn't realize that Drake was dissing Kendrick, and I didn't realize that
Kendrick.
Kendrick responded with 3 parts.
Oh my god, it is just crisp.
Yeah, I was
At
like,
the age
wow.
that I
Now
am, I
what if
should not be getting so excited, but the rap beef is so juicy.
yeah, because Kendrick dropped the bomb. He told on Drake's baby that he
I hate
hiding,
the
that
way
he
you
wasn't.
walk. I
He
hate the way
told
you
about
talk.
something that he's sex trafficking. I was like, is he a Diddy friend? That's right, he is Diddy's friend. I was like, oh my God, he picked with the wrong one. Drake picked the wrong one this time.
and and this is the thing that happens a lot when you've got quiet people around you, because the tendency is for people to take advantage of their quiet nature. I say
Hmm.
this all the time because I've experienced that all through my life. And then people will say, "Oh, you're so quiet and you sound so nice and you're so cute." And I'm just like, cross my boundaries one time and you find out.
I know that's right.
I mean, when I was younger, I was a lot more temperamental, but what I do now, having found a way to work around myself, because I just found out that anger was just not productive for me, was to find a
Hmm.
better way of managing. And a lot of the time, a lot of the problems I found could be solved by me removing myself from
Hmm.
the environment. And so that's what I mostly do.
Kendrick responded with 3 parts.
Rest. And so he told him all he needed to tell him in the first one. And then the 616 was just like, listen, okay, let me son you. And then I haven't heard the third one. I think that one must have dropped today or last night.
Yeah,
But
yeah. This one is like he got a secret baby.
family matters, right?
Yep, he's like Kendrick said Drake got a secret baby girl. He is rapping to the baby girl saying she's sorry she ended up with a father like him. and a grandfather was even worse, but he'll mentor her, and oh, he just went off, and then he was talking about how he's a sex trafficker, you know what I mean? And then Drake tried to answer him, but he answered about the girl, but he didn't say nothing about the sex trafficking.
Can you
I
guys
think I
hear me?
Oh yes, we
you
can hear
wonder
you
where he
now.
went.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I couldn't hear you. You kept getting lost, and then I'm yelling, and then you can't even. I couldn't even hear you on my other phone.
Mm,
Something
We
is
can hear you
wrong. Maybe
now,
it's my
though.
system or yours or something.
right. Let me have a
I can
look
hear you
at
now. Can you hear
the
us?
let me have a look at the comment section.
See,
So
Connie
John
said yes.
Jenkins says Sadiq Khan was born and raised in Tooting and a lawyer with an incredible heart. I think I do see that in the way things have been. I think it's a bit difficult because it's almost in the way that people expected Obama to just take up for all the black interests when he became president. But the thing is that he cannot show favoritism, and people are going to be watching him all that more
Hmm.
closely because he is black to make sure that he doesn't, and then they'll be
Which is
blocking
what they
him.
did. Which is what they did.
Yes,
Which
in
is
every
exactly what.
way, shape, or form. So I think
But what
this is
we
the
didn't
reason
do was
why
we
I
didn't
said
vote
that
enough.
when the general election comes, that the and goes Labour's way, and Labour becomes the ruling party, a lot of the policies that he would really, genuinely, purely want to bring in place, which will be helpful for the general public, will be able to be made more mainstream. I think a lot of the policies he put in place right now, which people are not that happy with, are things he had to negotiate and probably didn't come close to what he really wanted. Anyway, I'm just thinking from the optimistic point of view, but a lot of the things that he thinks about doing are mainly in the interest of the people. And anytime he says something that will be in the interest of the people, then you have all the billionaires fighting against him and saying, "Oh, he's trying to bankrupt the UK. He's doing
That's what
this
I'm
and doing
saying. You gotta get somebody that's gonna change the rules, and you gotta vote a whole lot of people in there, not just him. And somebody
mm,
gotta talk the mayor in the running because it's gotta be somebody different. And it's gotta be somebody that's
mhm,
gonna change the rules because you gotta be like Harry. They gotta be like Harry. They gotta be willing to kick the doors in because you gotta get
mm,
rid of Rupert Murdoch. You gotta get rid of
mm,
him because he's controlling all those politicians. So he gotta go. So you got to take
right.
him on. You got because as long as he's there, he's gonna be pulling the strings, and he's gonna be putting dirt out on people and getting so you'll vote him out. That's what he's been
A lot
controlling it,
of the time,
and here
a lot
too,
of
not
the
just in Britain.
yeah, and a lot of the people, especially in the conservatives, uh, Rupert Murdoch, I believe he has a lot on them. And so they're also
Hmm.
hampered in what they would want to do
Hmm.
because of whatever, like Sky News belonging to Rupert Murdoch. From the court papers, we can see that Rupert Murdoch actually hacked the ministers that were in charge of making the decision as to whether he could buy
Hmm.
Sky News at the time. And it turned out that he was actually guilty of hacking people, but because he owned, I think, a couple of news agencies at the time, and there was this rule that you couldn't own more than a certain percentage. But
Hmm.
because he had hacked and the people and he had inside information, he knew what to say, do in order to get around the rules. So I think
Hmm.
change will come when the Labour come in, and also when Harry wins the court case,
Right.
which is coming up January 2025. So
Right.
fingers crossed. I think it's going to
Fingers
be a
crossed.
rollicking time. Squaddies need to get they need to hold
Get
on to their
ready.
edges.
Yeah, like the Nigerian squaddies do. They be like, Nigerian squaddies, it's gonna be our time to shine.
Yes.
I was so cute, just so excited. I'm sorry, I go ahead. I mean, I'm so
uh,
excited.
Right. So let me look at a couple of the comments. So Gwen Danielle says, absolutely, that's me. And then they look at me like you're wrong. I believe you're talking about when I was talking about my personality, like all quiet and nice, and then you cross my boundaries, and then you suddenly find out that whoop, I'm a whoop.
Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, and
But some people aren't happy until they bring out your inner bitch. Oh, I'm
he needs.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Um, yes, there is that, and I think that everybody's got a different personality, haven't they? So a lot of people were not trained. We
Mhm.
often tend to think about people having good home training, that you're thinking about people or you're talking to people at work, or you're driving with people at work, or in a situation or arguing with someone who has good home training. But some people just grew up on the street in the gutter, and you can't engage them because they know rubbish and gutter behavior more than you do. They have a PhD in it. You just visit there every once a year.
I like the way I like the way you put that. Okay.
Yeah, you just visit it every once a year. But these people live there. They think it. They behave it. And so I just learned to stop engaging, well, unless it's absolutely necessary. And um, I took it upon myself to learn. Lady Rose, I don't know. Yeah, she's really struggling.
I just came back in.
Let me see.
Hi.
Let
Can
me
you
turn
hear
my.
us?
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
my stream is kind of messing up because I don't know why. The
Okay. That's
system
fine.
just doesn't like me.
That's okay. Don't worry.
The system is just messed up. But anyway, y'all talking politics. I just want to
Uh,
cut to somebody real quick. Y'all need to talk about those people here. Let's leave those UK politicians. Those politicians
Actually,
ain't doing nothing for.
I'm following my presentation, so just bear with as we go through. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna listen to the politics part.
Uh, the politics is also important because these people also are, what they decide on has everything to do with what affects Harry's case and Harry's security. Remember, they're all part of the decision making process. I know it's not for everyone, um, but as I am beginning to find out, some people just prefer to focus on certain parts of the entire conversation. And whereas personally, I take a broader view on, I look at everything as much as possible. I don't even like talking about like politics in the UK myself. But anyway,
But you
as
know
it
one thing,
intersects
Harry's
the
dad is the
discussable,
one making those laws. He probably even wrote those constitution, you know.
who?
Harry's father.
No,
He doesn't.
no. It doesn't. It doesn't work like it doesn't work that way. They have, what they have is a
but admit it
constitution.
all.
The- sorry, go on.
What's that?
You were going to say something, Sussex Love.
No, I was going to say it all runs together because Rupert Murdoch controls the politicians.
Mm-hmm.
Rupert Murdoch
Right now,
controls the
yeah.
politicians. That's why you got
Mm.
to get rid of him. So that's why it
Mm-hmm.
all blends together because he
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
gets in the way of the people being
Corruption
able to
with
live a
money.
good life in England.
Mm.
Yes, exactly. Same thing with the hacking. All corruption with
Mm-hmm.
money. All Rupert Murdoch and Pierce the
Mm-hmm.
moron. Who I would like to see go to jail.
Okay,
I would like
let's
to see
talk
Pierce the
about
moron go to jail. Okay.
William then. Let's talk
That's
about
who I was waiting for.
Well, then you go first. Go ahead.
Well, hold on. Let me just tell you what it is that I wanted to talk
Okay.
about. Then I will ask you for your opinions. Then I will just expand
Okay.
from there. Okay.
I'm
So,
happy. I'm excited.
as part of the coordinated effort to tarnish Prince Harry's image, the Daily Mirror, it seems like their battery has been turned on and they're now doing everything that they can to stir up trouble for Prince Harry with his board of directors in the Invictus Games Foundation, because the clamor to get Prince Harry to step down, they're trying to amplify it as much as possible, but they know that that's going nowhere, but as they're doing as much as possible to put that in the atmosphere, just because I suppose Harry can't do it on his own. So if they can cause trouble with the people who work with him, perhaps they can humiliate and embarrass Harry by getting them to become resistant and angry with him. But I'm sure that Harry must be having to manage all of them, and they're doing a good job of it. And this cartoon to me shows me what they wanted for Harry. Uh, they wanted Harry come begging for money, looking sad and
Mhm.
wretched, just looking with a patch on his elbow. And then Megan, this is supposed to be Megan wrapped up in a blanket, standing outside begging for money, begging the guards for money, no less.
Oh
Mhm.
But
my God.
instead of that, this is what they're getting. Harry looking
Mhm.
good, good, looking, and Megan looking like that girl. And
Mhm.
so it's not really working in terms of what they want from for Harry and Meghan, to the
Mhm.
point that you even have the royal rota saying the quiet parts out loud, which is, according to royal expert and author Tom Quinn, Harry's jet set freestyle lifestyle has left a bitter taste in brother William's mouth. He claims that Prince William envies his younger brother's freedom. There
Oh
has been a
God.
shift in the relationship with Harry and his brother William. There is even a bit of William that envies his brother's globe-trotting freedom. They say William has always been more confident because he has always been a monarch in waiting, and for a long time that was enough to ensure he felt confident about his role and his future. And then they say Harry has become such a thorn in the royal family side that he's getting a great deal of the attention that really should go to William and his father. I'm thinking, what do you mean by Prince Harry is getting a lot of the attention that should be going to King Charles and William? Can nobody else but King Charles and William be prominent? You know, the extent to which they expected Harry to bow down before them is just ridiculous. Like, Harry is, I mean, we're not even talking like physically, but metaphorically, right? Harry is a big man. He's tall in his, I mean, somebody who aims high, who works hard, and he's got a good character to boot, and has become more refined over time. So the position that they were looking to put him into, he was never going to fit into. Anyway, he goes on to say that William is a little jealous of Harry's ability to keep himself at the forefront of the news, even if he's doing it for all the wrong reasons. Adding that William is frustrated that he doesn't get the attention he should be getting. Maybe you can tell the media. See, the approach William took was the wrong one, thinking that by telling the media, okay, it's open season on Harry and Meghan, right? Harry and Meghan were already good on their own.
Mhm.
And then when they came under pressure, they now got under pressure to do the best that they are able to do by the most excellent standard. They made them reach higher.
Mhm.
So they
Mhm.
actually pressured them into being their best self. Whereas William is not under pressure to even be moderate,
Mhm.
moderately good at anything. So, of course, they're going to be more excellent in presentation than William. And then the better strategy to me would have been, do you know what? Just have, instead of me telling you, don't talk about my mistress, don't talk about Harry and Meghan at all. I mean, if you're going to be jealous about the attention Harry gets, surely the solution to the problem is to tell you, don't even talk about my brother and his wife, his mad wife at all. Don't just don't talk about them. But how
Mm-hmm.
can you be jealous about something that you put in place? You know what I mean? Makes seems to make sense, no sense to me. Lady Rose, what do you think?
Oh, sister, that's the question I was waiting for. I drank my water. Since I got a lot to say. You know. So what I have to say here, I watched the video where Prince Harry said he was shopping at TJ Maxx. I don't know if you call it TJ Maxx or TJ Maxx.
Yeah.
So when you were in that family, you couldn't buy anything expensive because all the money was coming from your dad. You are
Mm,
this grown man, but you have to go to daddy to ask for money to purchase
yeah.
yourself clothing. So therefore, you have to really use that money carefully.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you won't get anything else to you won't get more money because you are on a budget.
Mm-hmm.
So Harry said he did not like that life, and he said like he's super happy. Actually, America is a good place to live. I'm gonna make a video and I'll put those voice there for y'all guys to listen to from his own words.
Mm.
I mean, he's living his best life. He's like that place is boring,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
definitely agree. And his brother actually started competing with him since the childhood. The
Mm-hmm.
brother has no talent. He is what I call in my brain. He's watery. He's watered down. You know, when wine is wine, it's a 90%. What is the wine percentage? People, I don't drink, so I don't know the alcohol percentage in wine. So
Mm,
that wine percentage, the regular one, the
mm,
concentrated one, so it's watered down. So that's what William is.
mm,
That's why he's been the way he's been since they were children. Harry will excel in sports, in all good stuff. He likes to communicate with people and be around people. But this watered down guy, he is just there. He's full of himself, and people say like he holds grudges and he likes to be in control, and he likes to
I saw
control
you
Harry.
laughing at the name I put on the thumbnail. Grudge
Yeah,
Lord.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That cracked me up. I was driving laughing because I went to see it home. Yeah, I saw that title. I'm like, people, I need to make it home quick because I need to talk. We need to talk about this gradual. And that's true. But guess what? This is in documentaries. It's not
Mm,
us. I actually made a video and put a voice there for y'all guys to listen to. He
mhm,
is a graduate since
Okay.
he was a child. He
mm,
used to do the same thing that he's doing right now to his brother, and he wishes he could be this cool guy, the king of people's hearts. He can't be that one because he's unlovable. Nobody likes him, and those people who said all those stuff about him are the royal commentaries or the biographers. I don't remember the names, but yeah, I'm gonna tell you guys the next video, when we're gonna do the next podcast with Wizzy. I'm gonna bring the names of those people so you guys could go look for them on some on I believe they are on YouTube, but I don't remember the name of documentaries. They
okay.
really pinpointed everything about that guy hating his brother since they were little, and I believe he does have this bad blood in him.
Mm,
This terrible people blood. These people, y'all do not really think how come those people exhibited their racism just the time Megan came into that family. But
mm,
remember, those people colonized us. Okay? And those
I
people
was just gonna say that.
told us, well, it's the truth. It's the facts. We need to know who came up with that racism. The people who looked at us like a second class citizens, and they are still doing it right now. I'm telling you, even in American system right now, black
mhm,
people are not free. I work in the mental health field. The way my people are being treated is not the way I want them to be treated. Okay, like you're gonna send a patient to one of the doctors. This patient has the same issues with this other person, but
mm,
that other person is gonna be prescribed more better medication than the one you sent, the one who looks like you in
yeah.
America. And so you were telling me those people are ever gonna change and look at us, any black person, as a human? I don't think so. And so I believe Will is one of those people. He is racist and he hates his brother that much. He did compete with his brother with love before, but now he's just projecting hate towards him because of the wife that he married, who is not of their race.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and
Um.
yeah.
Uh.
So, can I
Love
just have
wins.
one more last word?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I heard. Believe it's Sussex Love saying like we shouldn't talk about that because guess what, sis? If we do not expose that, all this systematic racism is not gonna stop.
Which
When
part?
we're talking about it and tell people about how this racism started and why is that continuing to exist until today, because the people who started it haven't stopped it.
Mm.
That's why it's gonna be very hard if we just keep quiet. It's never gonna change. We have to speak up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Love wins. Sorry. While you were talking, you said something about William handling. William is like diluted wine.
Yeah.
Is that-
But well, yeah.
and this person, Bonnie Mighty, said William can't handle the wine anyway. Sway, sway.
No, no, no.
Sussex
He
Love,
can't.
what's your
Right, we're
comment
talking
on this?
about it.
I don't think Willie could
That's
actually
that.
handle sparkling wine, much less regular wine.
They say he
Um,
can handle fruity wine though.
oh boy.
Which
uh,
one is the stronger?
pardon?
Which of the wine is the stronger wine? The
Uh,
sparkling one?
no, no. Sparkling wine is like I would say it's
It's almost like carbonated water, right?
yeah, it is. Yeah, that's a good comparison.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hmm.
okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's like a Coca-Cola of them
Yeah,
wine.
Yeah.
most likely. I think it has a lower, I think depending on what it is, but it looks like it has a lower percentage of alcohol. I used to drink alcohol, but I stopped drinking alcohol. Yup, yup. I am
Yeah.
sober how many
The
years now?
ginger ale of wine. Oh, good.
Yes, the ginger
Oh,
ale
okay.
one. Yes. It has a
The
Yeah.
lower
ginger ale of
percentage of
wine.
alcohol. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah,
Mhm.
so he is a watered down ginger ale wine because he
Yeah.
doesn't have a lot of power in him. He is just. I don't want to say too much about that dude
I
because
think
that
part
guy.
of the reason why he's also mad at Harry is because Harry stepping down stripped away the mask uh,
Mm-hmm.
that had been
Of just how
used to
useless he is.
prop him up. Yep. That
That he
had
was hiding behind.
that he was hiding
Mm-hmm.
behind because they made him look like he was intelligent, he was
Mm-hmm.
socially proficient,
Mm-hmm.
he was
Mm-hmm.
a good
And Harry was
statesman.
doing all the work for all of them.
Yeah, all the women
Mm-hmm.
wanted him. He's the sexy bald man.
Mm-hmm.
But Harry stepping away just exposed the fact that actually he's the dumb one.
Mm-hmm.
And he's
He's not
useless.
that intelligent. He is very awkward, like his grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
Actually,
Mm-hmm.
King Charles is much better at him at engagements. Do you notice? He might be
Mm-hmm.
awkward, but
Yep.
um,
Yep.
King Charles is much better at
He
relating with
knows how to
people.
brown nose.
I
Yes,
agree. I
yes,
definitely agree.
much better than him.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't just seem to have to, he doesn't seem to have any ambition in life. In this this group of people, they call them no future ambition, NFAs, no future ambition. Just he's just happy to be there waiting for the crown. I do know that actually, if I'm being fair, Harry did say that whatever William wanted to do had to be passed and approved through
By William.
no by King Charles, and then the monarch in place will usually want to restrict the abilities of the heir in waiting. so that the air didn't overshadow them. So it was actually in King
And the men in
Charles's,
gray too, right?
yes, it was to his advantage to keep William as stupid as possible until is the best way to put it, to prevent him from overshadowing him, which is the most selfish thing. So where does he actually get the skill to become this great
Wait,
monarch?
you worse than me. You're worse than me, Weezy. I thought you were better. So to keep William as stupid as possible.
Yeah, well, what do you call it? Because I mean, that's what happened now.
You really got to.
He's now being exposed to everyone. And then that's part of the reason why I think all of them are mad at Harry. Like,
To his
okay, he's,
advantage. She's right. That's to
yeah.
his
Mhm.
advantage.
Mhm.
Anyway, so
That's why he has cover dog for him.
yeah. And so
Yeah.
when they say it's gotten to the point where the royal rota, they are now, it's so evident that they feel comfortable saying the quiet parts out loud that William is obviously jealous of
Mhm.
Harry. And
Mhm.
so it's funny to me that Kate and William would say, "Oh, they're going through hell." How is William going through hell?
Mhm. Exactly.
He's
From
not getting
the
his way.
designer girl.
He's not getting his way.
The designer
He's
girls
not getting
came
his
and
way.
say that they're going through hell, but we do not know what kind of hell she's talking about. Is she talking about hell because the woman was diagnosed with big C, or she's talking about hell because the marriage is upside down? Which one do you guys think?
I think they're going through hell because they lost control of Harry. That's why they're going through hell.
That could be.
Because who believes that Kate actually has the big C or she was diagnosed with the big C? Because nobody can even tell us for certain what the situation is. You know what I mean? So how can you say you're going through hell? Okay, going through hell
Right, because
for
Harry
what
was
is
holding.
the starting point, right?
Yeah, there was one article.
You know
Apparently,
what?
one of the
Before they
Italian
said,
doctors came.
wait. Wait a minute. Wait 1 second. Before they said that she had cancer, before the AI video said she had cancer,
Right.
it was two or
Mhm,
three newspapers
mhm,
that came out and said that there was something wrong, but don't worry, it's not cancer.
mhm, mhm,
Right,
Then
right,
when
right.
everybody started asking
mhm,
where Kate was,
mhm,
then they put the AI video out there saying that she had cancer, and it worked. It calmed you. Before then, they had said that she did not have cancer.
Right.
I don't know
mhm.
where Kate is, but I don't know if Kate is still amongst us.
So I
Yeah,
think that this
actually,
is
that's. Go ahead, Wiz.
no, I was just going to say that this
Oh,
is
you're going it.
William's way of seeking some sympathy for the parts he's got had to play where he's fallen short.
Yeah,
Because
guess what? That video definitely suppressed everybody's attention
mhm,
towards everything that's happening. But right now, there was an Italian doctor who came clean saying he apparently did a perform operation on Kate that she has some kind of bone, some kind of issue, which I do not believe. Because if we're gonna look at the timing around that Christmas, we saw Kate walking normally. Because if someone has a bone pain or anything in their bone, they can't be walking the way Kate was walking and
Kate was
greeting people,
walking,
running
right?
all
So
day.
it's
Well,
just been one
it
ridiculous
depends.
lie after
No,
the
she could be
other.
walking. She could be walking. The queen had bone cancer, and she was walking
Well,
around
that's
two
true as
days before
well.
she died. So it just depends on what it is. What kind
It
of
What?
bone?
depends on
Was
what
it?
it
Is it
is.
chemo?
Yeah.
Is it cancer? Is it blood related, or is it arthritis? It depends on what kind of bone. But you could be walking around.
But do you know one thing, Sussex Love? I do not believe that Kate even has any of those. One thing I'm believing,
Well,
Kate tried to unalive herself in the wrong way, but and that something happened. I believe she might be in some kind of coma, in some kind of stroke related something.
Mm, mhm,
That's what my brain is trying to believe, and it
mhm,
was also related to their marriage stuff. Because if you put
right.
everything, the
I thought,
puzzles together, why wouldn't they release any pictures of kids' birthdays?
mhm.
I mean, seriously,
uh,
why
they
wouldn't
can't.
that happen? Kate,
Kate can't come to the phone right now.
she can't come to the phone because she's paralyzed. Something happened to her. She
Yeah,
tried to
Okay,
that's what I'm
let me
unalive
saying.
get
herself where she
Love
got
Wins
hit by
to
the
join the
husband when the husband.
conversation.
What's that?
That's it. I think it's
Let me
those
get Love
two.
Wins to
Either
join the conversation. She's just
Uh, uh,
quiet. So
okay.
all right, love wins. Go ahead, say something because I need to talk about the Thomas Kingston. Two seconds when you all guys done.
okay. Love Wins, what do you think?
Um, the case situation has been difficult for me to process because when I first saw the video on the bench, I
Mhm,
thought, okay, this is what has been the big secret. And
mhm,
then Barron did a presentation where he showed us what AI was capable of, and my jaw was on the floor. And I
Mhm,
thought, if if this is what someone without the highest technology is capable of generating,
mhm,
there's no question in my mind that that bench video could be AI. So at that point, I just said, you know what? I'm not going down the rabbit hole any further than I've already gone. Um, at this point, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if something terrible hasn't happened to her. I went through the timeline of when we've heard very, very concerning things that have never been addressed. And I do believe where there's smoke, there's fire. That's just my thinking.
mhm,
And to me, I don't think this is a case of the cover up is worse than the crime. I think the crime is so bad. I don't know what it is yet. And I
mm,
don't want to go too far. But even with that picture of Louis on his birthday, there is part of me that thinks William doesn't have access to his younger children right now.
mhm,
I'm not sure if it could very well be that Kate is fine, but she said no. After what if something domestic happened between the two of them in conjunction with maybe being served with divorce papers or some sort of other argument that came up between the two of them? If anything happened, because we know he has a temper, and that has been there since he is was very young,
mhm,
and and I don't think that he is beyond striking her. And if he left even the tiniest mark on her, she owns him.
mm,
And I don't think she would hesitate in packing up the kids, going to her parents' house, and until she gets exactly what she wants
mhm,
from everybody, right up the chain of command to the king, we're not gonna really know what's going on. But I also equally am concerned that something terrible has happened to her. I'm not concerned for her as a person because her treatment of Meghan, her treatment of Harry, I'm never going to forgive them for what they did.
mm,
But I do think about those three children, and I don't want three children without their mother because I think at the end of the day, I do believe that she loves her kids. She may not be the best mom in the world, but I do believe she loves her children. And if something has happened between her and William, her eyes might be wide open right now. And maybe, maybe something good can come out of it if that has happened. But I do think that everybody's giving William way too much of a pass. Um, I honestly think we talk about, maybe him being controlled by the monarch, controlled by his father, Prince Charles, not being allowed to do certain things. But
Mm,
here's the thing. He knew someday he'd be in Prince Charles' position as he is now.
mm,
Nothing stopped that young man from educating himself
Mhm.
at his own time and dime to learn as much as he possibly as he could, so that when his time came, he could just boom, 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 put everything he'd been waiting for into place. What stopped him was his ego, and he has no work ethic. He
Mhm.
thinks he
Now
thinks
the
he
rest he's
knows it
dumb and
all.
lazy.
Mhm.
He thinks he knows it all, and he doesn't need anybody's help other than to take the fall when he screws up, which he has had since Harry was very young. I
Mhm.
know of several stories that happened at Eton, and I know with certainty they happened. And Harry was scapegoated by Charles with the media to cover
mm,
up for William. And as a child, I don't know how Harry has ever made peace with those instances. I also know why they stopped at a certain point, and that was because some parents of Harry's school chums who saw stories about William being traded up as if they were stories about Harry basically threatened to go to the media and
Mhm.
say, "Nice try. Our boys were with Harry. That didn't happen. It was William." And the person that was leading William astray was none other than our dear Queen Escort's son.
mm, mm.
So that is
Do
all I
you?
have
I
to say
have a
about that.
question though for you.
Yep,
Do you think that William's case? I hear what you're saying about um nothing stopping William from educating himself, because to a certain degree I think that's what Charles had to do, because
absolutely.
something the same thing happened to him.
Hmm.
But do you think that William was more susceptible to the influence of environment over his nature, or his nature over the environment was not able to overcome the obstacle in his path?
I
Because
think I think it's a great question, Wheezy, and I would call it the perfect storm. I would
mm,
say he had a
I agree.
predisposition for certain things. And I
mm,
think while Diana was alive, she
mhm,
saw certain things in him and she was able to shape those other environmental factors in a way that kept those more biological traits
mm,
suppressed to some degree without Diana there to influence, and really with those boys raising themselves, because Charles has admitted he wasn't around.
mm,
They were raised by household staff. I
mm,
mean, which is absolutely absurd. Um, but again, I don't think those qualities existed in Harry. I do believe they existed in William. But there was something really special about Harry, and I think a lot of it was brought out by Prince Seso, by those friends that he made in Africa who really, from the time he did his gap year,
mm,
I think, and also just being in Africa, I think what a healing place that entire world is for him there. Um,
mhm,
I think all those factors together really put Harry on a good trajectory. And it's not like he didn't make mistakes after that. Of course he did.
mm,
Um, but there's also a difference in the way that Harry responded to his mistakes. I
mm,
think there was, instead of having someone else take the fall, he had to take accountability. He had to rehabilitate himself. William has never, ever been forced to do that, ever.
mm,
And so I think this situation that he's in now, and we don't know the details of it,
mhm,
but his reputation, I don't care what anybody says, hit uh, William's reputation, it must be at an all-time low right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think Catherine's is probably fine because I think there's enough people who, regardless of what she's maybe done or what they believe she's done or whether she's lazy, or I think at the end of the day, um, the stories that they've kind of weaved around her have put her in good standing with the UK people. I'm not so sure with William that's the case. I very much think they see the laziness. There are too many people who, let's just go with the cancer story for now,
Mhm.
but they themselves have cancer, their spouses have cancer, so they have a framework of this is what happens when people are going through this. They have their
Mm,
treatment, they go to work, or they have their treatment, they may need a day or two off in the
mm,
48 hours, and then they go to work. They raise their children. They don't get to stop going out in public or grocery shopping or anything else. My 80-year-old mother just went through massive cancer treatment a year ago,
mm.
you
My
know,
mother
so
passed away from cancer as well, so I
my father unfortunately
yeah.
passed away uh within the same year. They were both fighting cancer at the same time. My mother
Mm,
fortunately was saved, my father passed, um but nonetheless they didn't stop living their lives,
mhm.
and
Mm-hmm.
and it had nothing to do with having small children to raise. Do you know how many young mothers and young fathers are diagnosed with cancer? It doesn't stop responsibility. And they don't have a 63-person staff and two quote quote Filipino
60
nurses.
something person staff, you know.
Yep.
60, you
Mm-hmm.
understand?
Yeah,
60
yeah.
something.
63. Yeah.
Wow.
63
Wow.
plus
And
two
two round the clock
Filipino
Filipino
nurses. It's
nurses.
ridiculous.
Wow.
So
Mhm.
there's
Yeah,
just no excuse for William not out there
absolutely
working double
ridiculous.
duty. He could be working late into the evening. He could still be doing the he could do events before the school run. He could do the school. I mean, there's just no excuse for him not being out in the public eye. I personally think he's undergoing some sort of intensive therapy during the day, and he has to be there during the work hours.
It,
I
it's,
I, I think
that's a
it's
good point. That's a good point. I actually didn't think about that, you know. I just felt like he's been benched because he's made too many goofs in recent time. I think he was given anyway. Thank you so much for your input. Let's keep it moving because we've still got a lot to get through, and the plan is not to keep you all here for much longer. Thank you so much, Love Wins. Let me just move through the next couple of slides, and I'll come back to you, Lady Rose. Okay. Um, so guys, if you haven't already subscribed, this is your moment to show me how much you appreciate my lovely accent. There was a lady who left a comment. She said, "Turn your volume up because we can't understand you because of your accent." I was like, "What accent is that?" Anyway, if you would love to take it one step further, please go ahead to smash the like button and leave a comment in the comment section. To all my lovely subscribers who support me when I come online, I give you a colossal thank you. You are the heartbeat of my community and you motivate me to come online when I say I'm going to do so. You keep me accountable and I love it. Um, don't forget that we have now activated the membership on the channel. So please go ahead to support the channel by joining the channel membership. And it's just so you know, or if you haven't heard me talk about it, it's going to help me prepare for Invictus Games 2025. Just to get to the end of this discussion on William, the efforts. So his jealousy, I think, is what is propelling and energizing his squad. The Richard Fitzwilliams of the Royal Rota. I mean, just look at this article he wrote recently: Harry and Meghan surviving, not thriving. So Richard Fitzwilliam had said in his article that the Sussexes seem to be surviving and not thriving. Um, He says Harry has announced that the United States is now his home, but he might want to reflect on what might have been if they'd remained part of the firm and genuinely help those in need, those less fortunate, and those suffering ill health. They're also not going to find that their behavior over the last 4 years for personal gain has been forgotten. Guys, so this is just part of the gaslighting comments that have been made by the royal voter in recent times. And the reason why we
And
talk
sour
about these
grapes.
kind of yes, is the reason why we talk about these kind of things in these videos is for those who haven't been following from the beginning and you see these names and you wonder why is this person saying these kind of things. Surely you know all that has been going on.
Uh,
um
think
well if you haven't been following the story, remember that Richard Fitzwilliam is a member of the Royal Rota. He's one of those who had actually given his opinion on the Oprah in Winfrey interview with Harry and Meghan before the interview even aired online. So he is a dedicated liar, and his comments on Harry and
Yeah, the
Meghan don't
fake
need to
ones.
be taken, yeah, don't need to be taken seriously. Another one of those type of comments is this article that we saw from Hanisha Sethi. She says Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's setback as public sees through plan. All more tears about their trip to Nigeria, right? They're saying that they Harry and Meghan are just planning to use this trip to Nigeria for their own gain. It's nothing to do with Invictus. They're trying to set up an alternative royal court. Well, in a sense, that's what it has to be because a royal court is a household of a member of the royal family and their offices. So if Harry and Meghan are no longer working within the royal family business, when they set up their business, they set up their home, it is effectively a royal court. So this whole discussion about them setting up an alternative royal court as though it's a bad thing is kind of beyond me. So actually, it's something that needs to be owned. Yeah, they are setting up their own royal courts and they're going to cry more tears in the future when they start having their annual bashes in honor of Invictus Games and all the other organizations that they are party to, particularly Archwell. Thank you, our quote Carter, for the super sticker. Really grateful. The support is really helpful for my channel and myself. Thank you very much. And they say the trip will not be successful because the Sussexes do not
I'm
have
getting
access to
echoes.
the royal family's resources. And I guess the Sussexes are going to have to show them. However, one thing is guaranteed, and that is the fact that the royal family have access to resources does not mean that the royal family themselves do not fail at their
I'm
own
getting a
royal
lot of
tour.
feedback.
Okay.
I'm getting a lot
Can
of
I?
feedback.
All right. I don't know why that is because it's kind of quiet on this side.
it's
Uh,
part of the mind too.
Oh, okay.
uh, just look at this photograph from Kate and William's tour. They
Hmm.
had all the resources.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
This
Look at
WhatsApp, where is that?
look at this one when she seems to be melting into William's side. I'm sure that this is the closest they've been since their last child.
Mm-hmm.
And look at this one, lovely. So with all the resources available
Could they
to them, they
possibly
still
look more
manage.
uncomfortable?
Yeah, they still
I mean,
manage to
look at
make.
them. Look at them.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they still manage to make a mess out of the royal tour. So them not having the kind of resources that you think that they should have in order to have a tour is really, I think, to their own advantage. Besides, it's not a tour. It's not a tour because you call it one. It is
Mm-hmm.
actually them going to visit all the Invictus facilities, Nigeria Invictus facilities that are available to them to determine whether Nigeria is actually going to be capable of hosting the Invictus,
Mhm.
so that when they put in their bid, they would know whether it is a qualified bid or not. But they know
Mhm.
this already. But just for those people who think about these things and worry, this is why we have these conversations ahead of time. And guess what? For those who think that Charles is not paying attention, or he's not part of this conversation, or he's not trying to fight against the Sussexes, well, I tell you what has happened recently. Charles has now decided that he's going to be the patron of the Commonwealth, taking over the position of Harry and Meghan.
Oh my God.
Oh God,
Oh God.
please.
And this is what
Well, this is
the
going to
fan
be
page,
entertaining. This is going to be
Mhm.
entertaining.
This is what the fan page has said about this new occurrence. It said King Charles has taken over Meghan's previous royal patronage, the Association of Commonwealth Universities. His Majesty is now their patron. Well, okay. All right, no problem. We want him to be able to do all of it since he said he's going to do that. But I tell you what the issue is. The issue is that he has had to take on 300 new charity affiliations because he's so insecure that he cannot share power and
Mm.
privilege with his own son.
Mhm.
And saying that, though, it might not be altogether fair because I believe Prince William has been given an opportunity to show that he can carry out royal duties, but it's been an abysmal failure. So, what to do? What to do? Well, I tell you what is being done. Harry and King Charles are due to meet for a second time next week, and they say they report on it saying the Duke of Sussex is very keen to see his father on his Invictus trip to London and has kept regular contact with him after his cancer diagnosis, but he won't be seeing his brother. And guess who has something to say about that? Dun, dun, dun. The
Oh
Rottweiler.
God.
So GB News
There she
reports
is.
that Queen Camilla is set to snub Prince Harry. Who wants to bet that it is Prince Harry who requested that she not be in the meeting? Who wants to bet? Because that's what he did last time, and she had something to say about it, right? She
Yeah.
was not
Yeah.
at all happy. So let me see what the comments are before I ask Sussex Love to make a comment on this. Yalibi says Charles ain't a father. He is pathetic. The racist is the patron of the Commonwealth. And Yalibi absolutely agree. He's nothing but a sperm donor. His son doesn't want it, and someone has to do it. I think Charles and his side piece are setting Willie up. What about Willie deciding that he's not going to do anything? This is just a thought that of what I think may be happening. He's decided that he's not going to do anything because his agreement was that Charles would abdicate the throne after being in power for a year. But Charles, having now sipped the wine of power, he being Prince Regent was different from being the king. Now he is king. He's like, why should I have to step down after being on the throne for just a year when I've waited for it all of my life? Um, so why does he think
Mm.
that he should have to do it? Is should have to step down? And then William says, "Fine, if you're not going to step down, then I'm not going to support you either." So much for being his liege man, right? That's what William pledged that he was going to be on coronation day, right?
Going in and out. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hear me?
I can hear you, but
Uh-oh.
it seems like you can't hear us. Um, a Penny says, well, maybe she would have to be held accountable for her egregious behavior towards Harry and his family. It would be interesting to know how much protection she will be able to get from the law, how much protection she gets as queen. Because if anything happened to King Charles, you best believe that she will get it. Dana says IG is H best international success, and now there's a hard cry for him to step down. Why for William to lay claim? All the media rhetoric is to instigate violence to disrupt the Niger trip. Absolutely. Absolutely. Isabella Truth. Um, Prince Harry said, if it doesn't come from me, it's not true. Yep. The two households are at war, hence William is doing minimum engagement under the disguise of caring for Kate. Absolutely. Absolutely. Don't you think that when Chuckle passes, she'll be banished to the tower? And he says, that is absolutely possible. Lady Rose, we are just before we move on to the next bit. Do you have any comment to make about this bit?
This one here, I guess I do not have a lot of comment to make. I'm just surprised that the king would take Megan's previous assignments.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a little bit interesting because in my head I was thinking the father was a little bit neutral because
Mm,
he's afraid to upset William. He's
mm.
not trying just to make it public that he wanted a reconciliation with um
Harry.
Prince Harry.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm seeing his fishy side. So I don't think that thought is gonna come to my mind again after reading this article here.
Right.
But yeah, that's something else. Why would
Mm.
he take that position? There are younger people who would maybe be better to cover that task than him. He's just recuperating. Apparently, he was sick, but he doesn't even look like anyone who's convalescent to me. So that's just me. I just look at people with different eyes. Sometimes I'm a little bit judgmental,
Mhm.
but I don't know. He looked really good to me compared to somebody who's almost 80 years who just had cancer, did not lose any weight. He looks like he just rejuvenated himself, like he just had some serum, some baby syndrome serum. Looking 20 years younger than he was prior to the cancer. So, well, God
I'm just
bless the
gonna take
UK.
Marsha's. I'm just gonna take Marsha's comments and then I'll move to Love Wins. So Marsha says, "What is more telling is that Chuck has allowed it. That Camilla Chrome. Oh God, will not be present during any meetings he has with Harry. Chuck must really want to meet with his youngest
Sorry.
son. Something is
Yeah.
up." I agree. Love Wins.
Can you hear me?
Any comments before we move to the
Can you,
next part of this session? Love Wins. Seems like
can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you now.
Can you hear?
Okay.
No, this is Sussex Love.
Okay, I can hear you now. Yeah. Uh, love wins.
Okay. Let me to ask, say about Charles.
Mm-hmm.
I got cut off before.
Mm.
Um, I don't know what to say about Charles and the maybe he can raise money for the Commonwealth Games. Um,
You
since
think?
he's going to be the patron. Can you hear
Do
me?
you think? Yeah, I can hear you. Do you think that the UK must be trying everything that they can to put as many obstacles in Harry and Meghan's path uh, for their trip to Niger? And that's probably part of the reason why he has announced the fact, because he's taken over 300 patronages, so they say, right? But they
Mhm.
have particularly announced the fact that he's taken over the Commonwealth.
Exactly.
Mm. I think
They've
it's
been
quite interesting.
they've been
Hmm.
trying to block Harry and Meghan every step of the way.
Mm,
Start trying to destroy their reputation so nobody would help them, and
mm,
then attacking the people that helped them so that they could take away their help. And
mm,
so they're jealous and petty. Charles and
mm,
William are jealous and petty, and Camilla is vicious and selfish. So they're just continuing. They don't know how to do it anyway. This is what they did to Diana. This is the only playbook they have, and they're running it.
mm,
And they're not going to stop. I think Harry's right. He had to take his family and run. He had to fight Rupert Murdoch, and he's got to take it to them because they're not going to stop. He's right about that. They're not going to stop. When he said
mm,
they're not going to stop until she's dead,
mm.
and
I
I
agree with
think
that. Can you guys
Okay.
hear me now?
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
Uh, the only thing I was going to say about the Commonwealth situation is I think this is a direct reflection of uh, Charles saying to William, "You're not going to give up the Commonwealth," because William has said on several occasions he has no desire. After I'm assuming it has to do with how pathetically he did on his Caribbean trip. He
Mm,
doesn't want to lead the Commonwealth, and I think it's because he can't. He simply does not have the skills. He doesn't have the temperament. He doesn't have the interest or the passion. So I think by Charles assuming some of these uh, patronages and functions that Harry and Meghan were doing so brilliantly,
mm,
which the Commonwealth has been waiting to be backfilled for 4 years because Charles has been trying to get William to step up and he just simply wouldn't take them on. Because
mm,
William has said he's not taking on, even when he becomes king, he will
mm,
not look after any more than 30 charities. That's it. And I'm not even sure that doesn't include the ones Kate looks after,
mhm,
assuming we still have a Kate. Um, so I think all Charles is doing is saying, again, it's this war of the two palaces. He's saying, William, you can't redefine what the monarchy role it is. It's you're head of the Commonwealth, you're head of the Church of England.
mhm,
You're this figurehead of the government. You don't just get to pick and choose which parts of being king you feel like doing. And I think that's another reason why Charles has added these 300 charities onto his plate now that he feels like maybe he's through his treatment and the news is favorable. So he wants to reestablish that the role of a working monarch are these various things, and William needs to wrap his little thick skull around it.
Honestly, to have a child like William and him not be a teenager, so you can at least say you're behaving this way because you're a teenager. William is in his late 30s now. Sorry, he should be 40. How,
Yeah, he's
how
in his
old is he?
40s.
How old is William?
42,
41 years old.
41.
Yeah, he's going to be 42 next month.
Yeah.
So you're right. He's going to be 42 very soon. Oh my days. And Harry is acting even more mature than William.
Absolutely. He grew up from a very young age on his own.
Mm. I think suffering does that to people, though. It makes
It does.
people a lot more compassionate, empathetic, and more mature in the sense that you have to kind of cut a lot of excesses away from your character in order for you to get ahead. And so while Harry might have thought he was suffering, he was actually in training for his future. And he
Well, I think that when one set of development is accelerated, I think
yeah,
Harry would admit another side of his development was stalled. And I think
was what?
I think that part of his development
Hmm.
accelerated. He grew up faster, but another part of his development didn't. I think it was stalled. But where those two sides came together was in the military.
Okay, which part do you think was stalled?
Physically, look at how small he was when he was young and growing up.
Okay.
He was tiny. When he came to Canada with his brother 2 years apart, I remember the media here was flabbergasted at how absolutely tiny he was. He
Mm,
was thin, he was short, his face was very sunken, and a lot of people thought they could see that as a reflection of he was coping with a very bad marriage at like between his parents at home. And I
mm,
did a whole video on this about how his development, his physical development was stalled when he was surrounded by so much stress. The body can't handle, and that's even before his mother passed. So then you add the death of his mom so tragically onto that, and he really didn't. You look at even his grad pictures from Eton, he had started to gain his height, but look at what happened to him once he hit the military and he was away from all that.
the
His
stress. Yeah.
Yeah, his physicality, and it wasn't just because of working out. Remember, he was an athlete his whole life,
Mm,
so
yeah.
it wasn't that. It was the relief from the stress, and his body finally kind of didn't have to spend its time diffusing all of that stress in protection mode.
Mm,
He wasn't in fight or flight or freeze mode all the time. He
mm,
was in a thriving environment where
mm,
he felt more like himself than anywhere before, other than maybe Africa. But Africa, he could only be there for like a week or two at a time. So it wasn't like being in the military. But if you look from his military career when he graduated and then pick snapshots every year after that, look at how his physicality changes. And I saw that as like as finally everything of who this young man should have been from the beginning. We're
mm,
finally getting to see it all come together in a really healthy way for him. And then his mental health stuff, that yeah, it was a setback for him being in any kind of war environment. The trauma from that is real for every
mm,
soldier, and I understand why it was particularly difficult for Harry, because he was already living with what happened to his mom and what he
mm,
was put through in terms of that funeral and having to perform in the most like ridiculous of circumstances.
mhm,
Um, so I think for him, um, when he got that mental help, that real um, which I think it started in pieces for him before Megan, but then I think it really kind of came full circle for him. And now you look at him, and I'm
the
sorry, but
fullness of him. You can see that fullness of him has
oh,
settled on him.
it's
Yes.
in his eyes, it's in his
You just
soul.
articulated something I was seeing, but could not really put my finger on. And I'm so glad I asked that question when
But
you said,
he's the epitome of health now. Look at him.
Yes.
I
Yes.
mean, he for everything that young man has been through, and I look at Megan too. I wish she'd have a teeny tiny little bit more weight on her frame, but I think
Mm.
that's because she just doesn't stop. I think she goes from task to task to task, and someone needs to shove some, I don't know, jerk chicken in her or something. But um I would just, even if she had another like 5 to 8 pounds on her, but she's still stunning, right? I mean, she's just
Yes.
a beautiful human being. But those two are the epitome of health, I think.
Health.
What
Yes.
what role models for everyone?
Hmm. No, you just articulated for me something I had observed, but I couldn't really put my finger on. And I'm so glad I asked you that question, what stalled? Because when you said it, the my mind just flashed from the photos of everything you were describing when he was much younger, his trips to Canada, because when I did the reviews on Spare, I will bring them back one of these days when I can go through and upgrade everything. But I actually did it matching the photographs to everything Harry was talking about in Spare. And so I remember the photographs of him going to Canada and just the various growth that happened to him all the way up till now. And yeah, absolutely. There's just an added him now seems more comfortable in his he just feels seems more comfortable in his own skin, whereas before, especially when he was in the UK, seems like he walked very carefully. Very, very carefully, and he held himself very tightly so that he didn't do anything which would get him into trouble, even within his own family.
Well, but that was because he was broke. He depended on his father at that older age. So
Mm,
when you do not have like financial independence, when you're growing up, waiting
yeah,
for money from your dad, just imagine what would that do to you psychologically.
it's just like a leash that they have around the necks of all of them who are in the royal family, and they say that that is the problem that William has. There's someone who wrote this very interesting article about the struggle that William is currently experiencing, because everyone's talking about Harry, but it's not like they were supporting William, but they were just like trying to explain the struggle that he must be having as well, as well, because it's just like a narcissist who has been abusing someone, and then suddenly your victim has been taken away from you. So what's your place in the world when you're, because Harry was positioned to be William's victim all the rest of his days, and now he's been taken away from him. Anyway, um, let me look at the comments. And Penny says, I love that Nigeria is proving to the royal and the world that Harry's voice matters. Yes. And Dara Edgehill says, hello all. Duchess Meghan was part of the Commonwealth Trust with Prince Harry. And yes, they were both handling it very well. They were president and vice president. And Harry is a better leader than even his grandmother. She was a very, very selfish person and was very mean and backhanded with her own family. Vinnie Blair, Charles does not look like he ever had cancer. Is it possible, Vinnie, if you're still here, I'd love to ask you this question and I'll be grateful if you could answer. When this was being mentioned before, is it possible that he doesn't look like he ever had cancer because he decided to go with alternative treatment rather than chemotherapy? Is that possible? He and Kate used cancer as a way to get away from the royal racist moniker. They're both playing games with cancer. I also believe that, but I'm just saying, if we're going to believe that he had cancer, is it possible? Since marrying Meghan, Harry has gained his life support. The life and support she gives him Superman powers. When a man has a wife and to fight, he'll gain strength. Harry is a soldier. I'm just going through the comments, and Penny, she also sent Harry out to build relationships with people all around the world. Yes, so he had time to actually develop his people and social skills. Uh, Marianne says the royal family cruelty does not sting anymore because Charles does not control the Sussex's purse strings. That irks them. Oh, I love that word, irk. Absolutely. I believe Marsha says, I believe Chuck never had cancer, although I believe he does have some kind of sickness. Maybe something stemming from inbreeding, in your honest opinion. Ooh, there was someone saying something about rosacea. I don't know. Let me see if I can find the comment. Rosacea, is that the way to pronounce it? I don't even know. But it's obvious he has something going on with him. And it's very possible that the royal rota know. It's just that they can't speak about it. Anyway, guys, we've gone almost 2 hours. Are you still game for uh the archetypes quiz? We can do it this week or we can postpone it to next week. Let me see a thumbs up if you want me to go ahead or you want us to carry on.
Absolutely.
If you don't want us to carry on, we can postpone it till next week because we've been on here for 2 hours. I was going to say we've been on here for 2 years. That would be fun.
It's been 2 hours. Yeah, I believe maybe we need to postpone this one here, and I want you, Wizzy, to help because we need to put the timeline. Because before, when we were talking about Prince William, that's when I wanted to talk about this Kingston stuff. So we need to talk about the timeline about all the lies that's happening around here. Try to make sense out of everything that's happening, and I believe it's going to take a long time.
Okay.
And I have my mamas here. They came and help me pack stuff because I remember I'm selling my home. So I have my Nigerian mamas. So I did cook dinner for them.
All
So
right. Okay.
yes, yes. So that's why I need to leave. But we need to talk about this one here. I wanted to put it like our next topic for next time. We need to put
Okay.
a deep dive timeline of every nonsense that started since the December 28th
Okay.
with this cake thing, and so we could also talk about this Thomas Kingston. It's kind of like a kind of a point that everybody tends to ignore. But I
Yeah.
was just thinking out loud. So
Mm.
when I start thinking, I just think too much. So we need to talk about all those nonsense to try to put puzzles in their places.
Okay. All
Yes.
right. No problem. All right. No problem. Um I need the people in the chat to also make comments though about what I asked. Should we go on with the archetypes quiz or should we postpone it till next week? We've been on for 2 hours. I don't mind going on, but I am conscious of the fact that you have other things that you might want to do. So thumbs up, we
Well,
continue. Thumbs down, we don't. Okay? Please vote in the chat.
well, I want the quiz because I need to laugh.
Okay.
Yeah. This is like my hobby. I just can't miss it because I just look forward to it every Saturday. Okay. So
It's
I'm
usually
open. Yeah.
I'm just answering a question to someone in the chat. So it would probably take us another half an hour. Gwen says next week. Someone says I'm open to what the majority want. and it's already past 1. Let me see.
Oh no.
UK time. I don't mind. I'm now used to someone Marsha says I like to keep dragging Kate.
I like you, Marsha. You my real sister.
Okay, guys. Since it seems like most people would prefer to do the archetypes quiz next week, we'll postpone it until next week and next week Saturday. And it's a good thing actually because we will it gives you a little time to go ahead and listen to the podcast if you haven't already listened to it. This week's one, in case you didn't listen to it, is um episode 9, to be or not to be, where she was talking about the use of the word bitch. So it gives you time to go listen to it. Sussex Love, I can ooh, your your mic was muted. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear
Okay.
me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You can hear me?
Yeah. So,
Okay.
we have decided that we will be doing the quiz next Saturday because we've had too much fun dragging Kate and William. Um,
It was fun though.
I can't wait.
It was fun.
Yeah. Yes. Please work hard next week. You need to put lots of this together. We need to talk. Deep dive.
Lady
okay.
That's
Rose is
what
planning to stay in the shade room. She just gonna
I
stay in the
will
shade room.
stay. I will stay for 5 hours, Sussex Love. Trust me. Those people hurt my sister. You know, they hurt Megan for years. I mean, it's so painful to see her go through that.
That's
You
true.
know, yeah, it's so painful. So we need
They
to deep
almost did her
dive
in. They
into
almost
everything,
did
the
her in.
timeline. Yes, please, Wheezy, remember December 28th. We need to put everything down with all the research and everything. We need to talk about these people.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you think, team? My
Eh,
queen's here. Do you guys want that for next week? Please let's say yes so Weezy can put it together. She doesn't like lots of trouble. She's our Mother Teresa. What do y'all guys thinking, my queens? Come on, Joy and more.
That and also
Vinny
that's good,
Blair.
but I also want to
Come
drag the
on,
British
Penny.
press too. Not just I want to drag the British
Gwen,
press too.
Daniel, Marshall, y'all,
what?
come
Hold
on.
on, hold on, hold on. Well, Sussex Love, what are you saying?
I said I want to drag the British press too, not just the royal family. I want to drag
That's
the press
right.
too. All the royal commentators. We want to do a flow chart of each one is losing their jobs. Let's do a flow chart of which royal is losing their job next. We should keep a flow chart like they do for the jam. Let's do for the ones losing their jobs. Can somebody do a
Yeah.
flow chart?
Okay.
You got me in the mood, Lady Rose.
Yes, well, guess what? I got everyone in the chat. Look at all of them.
We're
They
gonna
got
get our
thumbs
own
up.
flow chart
Next
on
week, we're going to
how
wash
quick
all
they
the
lose
dirty
their
linen in the
job.
public. Yeah. I
Okay
love
then.
y'all, queens. Thank you. I love
Thank
y'all.
you so much for that suggestion. Thank you so much. That's a lot of work, but we will take it
Love you
and
more.
thank you everyone for being here. I think we will end this podcast now. Uh, I, and I will just go through the comment section before I head out, just because I usually find diamonds in the chat. But um, thank you all for being here. Until next time, this is Wheezy signing out. If you can still see me on, it's because I'm looking at the chat and I might be responding to the comments in the chat. Okay.
All right, bye, sis. Thank you for putting this together.
No
Thank you. We
Yes,
problem.
appreciate
I
Thank
you.
enjoyed
We
it.
you.
appreciate you. You
This
do
uplifts
make
my
it fun
spirits,
around here. We're happy.
and it's
Thank you very much.
informative.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to all my queens around here and the kings. God bless
Okay.
y'all. I appreciate y'all.
All right then.
Bye
Thank you.
bye.
Yes. Bye. Bye, Queens. Bye, Squatty.
Bye. Okay. Joy Amo. Hello, Isabella. William is a nut bucket and dangerous. Yes. Yes, I'm so glad that Harry and Meghan got out of there and their children were never exposed to the danger that is William. For every year Meghan shed because of these people, I will downgrade them to the depths. William Cratface. Oh, Chucky. Also the rotten rotor. Could it be they caught his cancer early enough where he only had to do several rounds of radiation therapy and take hormones therapy to get rid of the cancer? It's still hard on the body. I don't know. I mean, he looks ill. He looks like he's got something going on with him, but he certainly doesn't look like anyone who has had cancer. Oh, hold on. Uh, let me go through. And they said he had something that was wrong, but she couldn't say what it was. It wasn't cancer, that which is why he wouldn't be having no chemo. Have you noticed that the ladies who said that hasn't been as vocal online ever since she made that statement? Andrea Elaine says, you ladies really had a good time. Good night. Yep, yep, absolutely. Thank you so much for being here. I think that was my last comment to read. Until next time, everyone, and enjoy your weekend and see you on Tuesday. Ciao. Okay.